Welcome to day one of our Writing 121 class. We have a lot to cover today, and I am going to be bringing up the assignment that is due on Friday so that I can go over it and read it with you. And if you are in our Moodle, please go down and click on the Friday link. It says Due Friday. And you'll see when you open that link that you will be directed to an assignment that reads Writing 121, Week 1 Assignment, 2 to 3 page exploration of a set of readers' right. It seems like it's a complicated writing assignment and that you're being thrown in to having to produce writing, but this is my way of assessing your writing. It's how I get to know you as a writer. This is a revised piece of writing where I want you to have written the first draft by Wednesday of this week so that you can turn in a sweet and beautiful final draft on Friday. I want you to follow the links that will be in the Moodle to our writing center so that you can set up a meeting with them. That's required if they're open, and I need to check that. Our first draft is due Wednesday, January 5th. Now, there isn't really going to be a place for you to submit that. You should just have that due in your heart so that you make the actual final draft is due on Friday. It's worth 100 points. It's a big assignment for this class. There are only 4 major assignments. This is one of them. Papers turned in, and I'm just going to be reading this with you right now and sort of talking and doing my instruction while letting you know what's happening here. Papers turned in on time may be revised and resubmitted within 1 week of being scored. So don't turn in nothing, okay? That's so just to say that's a double negative. But if you turn in nothing, you get a 0 in the grade book, and there's no way to get back. If you turn in something that is below your expectations, you will have the opportunity to revise it. But if you turn in nothing, what you have is a late paper, and late papers can be turned in for up to 1 week after the deadline, but they can score no higher than a C. So that's very important. Jennifer, are you following along on your screen? Can you see what I'm reading?
Yes, I am.
Ah, great. Yep. Good. Purpose. So all of my assignments are broken up. Try to be very clear. I want to have the purpose, why we're doing this thing. I was always like, hey, when am I ever going to use my algebra? Just kidding. It's a similar sort of deal, but they're all broken into purpose, tasks, and then instruction, and then criteria. And the criteria is obviously how you're going to be graded. So purpose, read excellent writing. So part of this assignment that we're about to engage in will guide you to some excellent writing. I'm going to explain all about that. I'm going to try to do it as fast as possible because I respect your time and mine. We're going to connect with ideas and emotions. We're going to relate to engaging content. Those are the reader's rights. We're going to analyze author, audience, and purpose. And what I mean by that is when we're reading the reader's rights that we're about to be discussing, I want to ask you to ask yourself this question about each piece that you read, which is, why did that writer sit down to write this? Why? And who are they hoping to reach? So that's, the author is the one who's obviously sitting down to write something. The audience is who they're going to reach, and then the question is why? What message do they want that audience to get? And that's such a big part of college writing. It's actually what really distinguishes a college level writing class from your high school writing classes, where it's like, how was your summer break with your grandparents or whatever it might have been. When we write to a purpose, we're trying to convince or persuade or instruct. There's all different kinds of purposes, and we gotta start, doing some meta-analysis or simply analysis. But we want to analyze why this person sat down to read this. And analysis is going to be a big part of this class. Jennifer, you're probably seeing this discussion is a little bit more content-oriented than our first go-around, right?
Yep.
All right, good. Another one of our purposes is to feel inspired, use correct grammatical structures. Oh, man, I have so much to talk about grammar, but that's going to wait. Practice writing clear prose that includes summary, paraphrase, and quotes within a signal phrase. Now, bear in mind, we're in writing 121, so there is a little bit of instruction on summary, paraphrase, and quotes, but to get here, you will have, many of you had to take writing 115, which is that's that class, and so I do sort of, I leave it for you to call me. Okay, my phone number is 541-250-1652. If there's some catch up that we need to do, I'm happy to do it with you. I want you to succeed in this class, and that's what you need to remember. Come to a keener understanding of our rubric, which we're going to cover in just a second. I'm now going to read this task section. The prompt: write a 2 to 3 page informative exploration of a set of readers' rights. Well, what the heck is an explorative exploration? I've tried to give you guys these bullet points. Assume that your readers already know what the readers' rights section is. Your paper should include body, introduction, and conclusion. Again, features that will have been covered in writing 115 or your earlier classes. We can go over them, but they are all over the internet if that language isn't happening for you. Your paper should also include quotes, paraphrase, and summary. Now, this class really relies on quotes, paraphrase, and summary, again, covered in a previous class, but really the heart of the writing that we'll be doing in this class from the reader's rights, and you will get to see that as we move forward and look at our samples today. Your paper will offer clear transitions, which I will also cover in this video as I read the A-level sample. Your paper will offer the reader a sense that you have read and appreciated the set of anecdotes. Your paper will inform the reader about specific details relating to several of the stories in the section and an overall feeling of what the section is about and how the anecdotes you have chosen relate to the subject of the reader's right. I kind of have a feeling that that particular bullet point may not be as clear to you as it will be after I show you what readers' rights are and more about what we're doing. You will present the set of anecdotes in a way that inspires curiosity and might make your reader wish to read the set. We have that thanks to some discussion that happened in our live Zoom section, which you may have missed today, but you are welcome. If you are in this class, you are always welcome to that section. Instruction. The pages of these assignment guidelines are your textbook for the first week. You need to read these guidelines in the sample student papers below. Browse through our database of the Sun Magazine archive here. Take your time, enjoy this process. Some students find reading these with a friend or parent and discussing them enriches their ability to think insightfully about them. Now, I will be clicking on that link in just a moment. Of course, you should stay with me here. You should be reading these guidelines while I'm sharing this with you because you don't see the words that I'm sharing. I'm just reading them. And don't just listen and read at the same time, please. Readers' right topics or categories are included in the file names of each issue. Jennifer, was it pretty clear to see those topics in the readers' rights?
It was. When we bring up the overview of it, it shows the beginning of the title of it and then the number. So it's and a good picture, the thumbnail of it. So it's clear to see which ones you're looking at.
That's dynamite. Did you notice when I shared my screen, I don't see thumbnails. I don't know why, but yep. you guys see thumbnails of the issue, huh?
Yeah, we see a grid view.
That's awesome.
Of a 3 wide, and then it goes down grid view of everything.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All right, I'm going to continue. These are the topics that the set of readers' rights have been written about. When you open an issue, you will look at the table of contents, usually on the 3rd page of the PDF. There you will find the page number of the readers' rights. Usually it's somewhere between 28 and 32, but that is a whole section of each issue of the magazine. When you find a set of readers' rights that interests you, read through each one. Take notes. Look for themes. I should have read this during class. This is so important. I'm glad that I'm making this. Everybody should come back and take a look at this.
I did notice during class when you mentioned this, people were going to it, they did scroll down and read this section. I saw a lot of people's cursors highlighting over this. So I'm sure plenty of people saw it.
Oh, good. I'm glad, because this is like, whoa, college time here, where we're taking notes on what we're reading, looking for themes. Where are the similarities and where are the differences? What surprises you? And that's when you sort of make a note about something that surprised you. You can use the first person in this paper, and that's going to make your writing interesting, because the more engaged you are in the set that you choose, the more engaged your readers are going to be. How do these anecdotes enrich your understanding of the concept? It is very important that you find a set of readers' rights that genuinely interests you. Successful students have told me that when they find a set that they want to fall in love with, they jot down a quick list of the most important feature of each particular submission. Example. Okay, so what this means is that, like, if they're reading a set, they'll write down the main idea. So of the first one, because the little readers' rights things don't have a title, and it's hard to really remember what each one is about. So you're juggling a lot of different information, a lot of different voices. So do take some time. And so the first one, oh, that's the one where the author gets the driver's license. And then, oh, the author falls over the cliff and survives. Oh, that's the one that mom abandons the kids in the circus. And the fourth one, cousin pursues a killer, etc. I hate etc. and I've used it, so I'm going to delete it probably sometime, but not now. Exploration means carefully reading each of the submissions and then writing about the absolute high points of the set, so that the reader of your 2 to 3 pages might have the feeling that they are so well informed about the set that they do not now need to read it, or that they might become so intrigued that they do want to read it. So that's the idea. Now, we're already done with those. It felt like it was going to take forever, but it doesn't. Now, A papers, and I'm just going to read the A paper criteria. I'm going to leave it to you to read the B and the C, because why aim low unless you have to, because you're stuck for time. A papers will insightfully address the writing prompt, offer a thesis that is clear, original, interesting, and is supported with well-chosen examples that illuminate thoughtful ideas, offer organization that enhances its meaning. It is well-paced and may employ clever, original organizational techniques for effect. Ideas are logically related and unified by transitions. Bear in mind, listen, getting the A, that feels like super complicated. You're like, oh my God, Risey, first, Friday, how am I going to do a clever and original? Well, the A is a little easier to get in the first week, trust me. So just relax. But I want to see your interest in this. I want to see you inspired by what you've read. And that means that you will have done the legwork. Like a lot of my students who got C's, I asked them, like, what happened? And they were like, I just decided to write on the first one that I clicked. That's the fastest way to the C for this paper. And I hate to say it that way, but you're not going to be able to write at the A level unless you really spend some time looking for what you're interested in. There are no redundant ideas. Oh, that means that this is part of it. We don't want to be repeating ourselves. And sadly, oh gosh, that was, I just taught this, and so I remember it, like literally, like just a few weeks ago, it feels. Your A papers will also display near mastery of standard conventions. Language enhances the meaning and impact of the essay. The essay will have been proofread and be free from sentence level errors. This you will do with super excellent help from people in the writing center. You can also, if you feel like you have a lot of sentence level errors, you will also go to maybe the college, what we used to call the college skills zone. Its name just changed, and I am not recalling that. I think it's called College Heroes. I can't remember. Come back for a different video to figure out that. I wish I could remember the name of that office now. But I was about to say they're right in there with the Writing Center, but most of this is happening online right now. Successfully incorporates summaries, paraphrase, and well-chosen quotations that illuminate the reader's rights section. And in this, I'm going to make some of the instruction of this video highlight the difference between, obviously, quotation everybody knows, but there's a difference between paraphrase and summary. And I'll just say it right now. A summary summarizes an entire item, like a reader's right, like a woman goes to the beach and falls off a cliff, but her life is saved by a whale. That's that's a summary. And these are the kind of crazy things you'll read in the Reader's Rights. Like, it's nuts. And that's not in the Reader's Rights. I just made one up. But that would be a summary of the whole thing. But let's say that I was paraphrasing maybe the second paragraph of this fantasy one. It could be the protagonist or the narrator while driving saw a turtle in the middle of the road and picked it up. So that is a paraphrase of just one paragraph. And then I'm going to let you read this B and C level portion. Would you scroll down to meets the A level of the writing rubric, and we'll read this essay together, and I'll leave some annotation so that you can see more of what's going on here. So Skylar Trenton wrote this great piece. Mara Orman's March 2021 contribution to the Sun magazine's Reader's Right section on the topic of mail. Jennifer, would you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Could you actually look in there and open up the mail one? Like the mail topic. I don't know if it's there. If there's one on mail, I saw one on letters when I just read it. Is it mail? Maybe Skylar. I don't know. Would you?
I see one on letters.
Is there one on mail? All right. I need to continue reading. I'm going to leave that in your trusted hands. Jennifer's like.
There's not one on mail. It's on letters.
Open up letters. It's probably letters that he's talking about. We need to verify that.
Page 30. Roughly.
Yeah. How fun. So, Reader's Right section on the topic of mail ends with a heartwarming truth that perhaps all of us might wish to experience. Mail from a handful of strangers transform my life. And I'll just sort of make this note right here. This is a clear thesis, and that's one of the features that makes this strong. He includes a quote from one of the submissions and opens it up by telling us who the author is that he's quoting, tells us where it came from. Obviously, it's the Sun magazine's Reader's Right section. We don't really have the page number, and each reader's rights. Oh, if you could scan through there in the letters one that you've looked and look for somebody named Mara Ormond, and we'll just see if that's it. And you know what's possible? Because I was going to use this as an example, I pulled it. It's possible that I pulled it from the list.
There's no Mara in...
Yeah, there's no Mara. I pulled it. So that means that there's no March 2021, is there?
No.
Ha! Okay, well, that explains it. I pulled it because, you know what? I didn't want a bunch of, people writing the same paper. So I pulled it. I hope that you guys get it. So you're going to have to, do your own work. I pulled it, though. That's what happened. And thank you, Jennifer, for helping me remember that. The Reader's Right collection of anecdotes on the topic of mail presents and remember, the Sun magazine's been around for 50 years. And so they do, if you love letters, they do have one now on letters that they changed the name of because this one from 2021 is mail. But what is the year and the year of the letters one, Jennifer?
It is...
This is great. We're like a show. Jennifer and I literally just met this morning, and I feel totally connected and comfortable. What a competent and super together student. Thank you, Jennifer.
1981. No, 2004. 2004.
Oh, 2004. Okay, well, boy.
November 2004.
I should go back and include some from 81.
There's a date right above 2004 that was 81, and my mind immediately went to that, and I thought, that's not right.
Is one of them from 81? Do I have things that go back?
Oh, I mean, in the actual write-up.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. That's right, yeah. All right, presents a kaleidoscope that is a love story, time machine, international flight. Now, what the student has done here is literally taken my suggestion, and I'm scrolling up. You guys can't see that I'm scrolling back up to that example. Author gets a driver's license. Author falls off a cliff. Mom abandons kids in the circus. What the writer is doing is literally going back to that list and just sort of writing, okay, well, so the writer is motivated to let us know that they've read the whole set, and they know one is a love story, one is a time machine, whatever that means, international flight, prison visit, college application, and transformative journey, and they've chosen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 to write about, and that definitely puts you in that A level criteria because it's very thorough. The 20 descriptive stories touch on, but then they talk about going even more thorough. So now they really want us to know that they really did this. So they touch on, and now they're saying abortion, domestic abuse, love, and suicide, while making the sending and receiving of mail a character in each story that unites the set, that's the set of readers' rights, I mean, and helps us see on a much deeper level something that most of us only understand superficially mail. Now, that's really the thesis statement. That's like a reiteration of the thesis statement. That is a thesis too. So now I'm like, okay, thesis statement. They're kind of both thesis statement. One is like sort of the grippy. That's a really good thesis statement. So notice that the two pieces are very, mail transformed my life, and then enriches our understanding of mail. That's really good. The first two, so I'm on the next paragraph, the first two entries about mail, and this is a short essay, should only be 2 or 3 pages long. The first two entries about mail juxtapose voting with Christmas and growing up. Ali Zaidel Meyer's contribution reminds us that the mail can be an essential ingredient to the creation of free and fair elections, as he exclaims proudly. So this is what we call a signal phrase. I'll just write signal phrase here. Could you do me a favor, Jennifer, and see if my comments are showing up on the document that you can read?
Yes. Let me.
Do they show up for you?
Second.
They should be on the right side.
They're not showing up for me, no.
That's cool. I'm going to actually make a change right now, and I'm going to change it so that people can comment. And if I change it to comment and I save it, they should show up. Do they show up now? Maybe you have to refresh.
I refreshed the page. It shows where you're typing. It doesn't actually show
the comments.
Let me go back and actually completely redo the page, not just refresh it.
Oh, thanks. All right, I'm going to keep reading though. So this is the second paragraph. The first two entries about mail juxtaposed voting. It is a little bit convoluted, but it's hard to write about these. So Christmas and growing up, Ali Zaidel Meyer's contribution reminds us that mail can be an essential ingredient to the creation of free and fair elections, as he exclaims proudly, "I vote as if my life depends on it." His contribution is followed by a sad Christmas story. So that's what they're talking about, voting with Christmas. Okay, so what he's doing is saying that the first one was about growing, the next one was about Christmas. Christmas story by L.K. from Seattle. L.K.'s mother has died, and this is sort of paraphrase and summary here. And she decides to stay connected to her extended family for the first time in her adult life by mailing a photo of herself with her Christmas cards. She includes one for her mom, who passed away months ago. LK is surprised when she receives a heartwarming message from the lonely older woman who now resides in her mom's old apartment. And that is a signal phrase again. So this whole thing is a signal phrase because it's introducing a quote. So what's a signal phrase? It's a sentence, sort of a clause that introduces a quote. That card with that strong young woman was the highlight of my holiday. Two of the stories in the collection feature lifelong marriages that began as simple correspondences but blossomed into love. An anonymous contributor celebrates the awkward unfolding of her romance with her incarcerated partner and shares the challenges of writing to someone in prison by confessing, another signal phrase that introduces a quote. It was humiliating to bare your soul and share your weaknesses knowing that some bureaucrat would scrutinize it. The next love story materializes, and notice that this writer is shifting their verb usage a lot. So they're not just saying, this one's about, this one's about, this one's about. They're trying to keep that writing interesting by using complicated or more complex verbs. The next love story, or at least varied verbs, the next love story materializes when Deborah Zeller from Honolulu, Hawaii, shares that her love for her high school English teacher began when they moved away to Hawaii, and they started sending letters to one another. In anticipation of scandalized readers, she ends her contribution by writing, "We've been together for 43 years." This assortment of readers' rights about mail ends up celebrating the power of human connection, the strength of people, and the fragility of our lives. Again, that is another example of listing in this piece. It's a very strong technique where we take three really relevant ideas in this topic sentence right here and try to join up that whole set. So the writer's really trying to go, okay, well, so some of them are about human connection, some of them are about the strength of people, and some are about this fragility of our lives. It's difficult to put all of these together, but I think this is a very good attempt at it. One of the entries is about suicide, while two of them, and notice that this is a topic sentence, so the first thing that's mentioned in his list in the topic sentence is human connection. And as we learned in high school, he's probably going to enumerate. The first one will be about the suicide, and hopefully it gets solved by human connection. One of the entries is about suicide, while two of them touch on surviving cancer. Male, we learn, explores all aspects of the human experience, from abusive relationships to brain surgery to stuttering, births to illness and to death. These 20 anecdotes, and that's why he calls it a kaleidoscope, because it really, so he's almost saying like there was too much for me to even comprehend, so he calls it a kaleidoscope, which fair. It's not the easiest assignment, but it does satisfy a lot of things that I want you to do this week, which is to read all those and enjoy that, get exposed to some good writing. That's really part of our purpose here, is for you to be exposed to those and for you to kind of work toward creating some revised writing. These 20 anecdotes are a kaleidoscope of mothers, brothers, sisters, fathers, cousins, and all extended family we might reach out to when we have some great news to celebrate or some sad news to share. This mix, a different word for kaleidoscope, this mix of readers' rights entries is in no way an argument that mail is better than texting, email, or messaging in Discord, but it is a reminder that mail can build rich, meaningful connections between people who are separated by hundreds or even thousands of miles. Perhaps what is most remarkable about this set of submissions about mail is that none of them are trying to sell anything or trying to change anyone's opinion. When viewed together, each of the 20 entries seems to admit simply, I am a vulnerable human being with hopes, dreams, and aspirations that are important to me. Please accept me. I almost cried. Or perhaps this beautiful celebration of humanity is best summed up by William Smitherman from Craigsville, Virginia, who writes, there is something special, though, about words on a page, how you can see someone in their handwriting. And that's the way our student ended it. And you can see below we have the B effort, but I say just concentrate on that A effort. And I'm going to go back and sort of get ready to end this. I hope that I've introduced the assignment that's due this week clearly. And I am going to stop my screen share, which I was doing. Jennifer is still there. So
I'm still here.
What did you think about that example?
I really liked it. It was a very concise way of everything put out. There weren't any veer offs the path that kind of distracted anything. It was just very this is what you need to do, and this is how it should be laid out, and it wasn't too like strict though. Like it was still very free flowing in ideas.
Yes,
that it was like good to be like, oh, so I can do this. I don't just have to stick to that.
You absolutely don't. Basically just convince me that you got into it. That's yes.
Yes, something that it kind of reminds me of, like what you want us to do, is kind of like when you see write-outs of TED Talks, where it's like an introduction to something that's very meaningful to someone, and then a bunch of examples from different pools of life and forms of, expression, and then a summary of why that's so impactful. And it's not really meant to inform you, it's meant to get you to want to go learn about that. So that's what it reminded me of a lot, because we watched a lot of those my freshman year of high school to get us like understanding how to intrigue people into listening to our writing.
I love that. You had a great writing teacher in high school, and
Mr. Koenigsberg was awesome.
That was great. I'm immediately sort of like, wow, I should go look at these. What do you call them? They're the summaries of TED Talks. What are they?
Yeah, they're TED Talk. They're just the write-outs of people's TED Talks, and you can listen to them. But I tend to just do better listening and reading along at the same time. So
that's great. Well, I hope that my reading was good for you today.
It was. It's something like the way you read it is very good at just like, you don't give too much of your opinion, but you give information about it, which is what I like to hear teachers, how I like to hear teachers explain stuff. Cause I feel like when teachers try to give their own opinion, it kind of muddles what you're actually supposed to do.
Right.
And it makes it like, this is what I want to see you do. And anything outside of that lane is not correct. When I feel like writing is a very expressive form and should be left to the student to kind of
Totally. Gosh, this is like, it's so good.
Doing your job.
Thank you, though. But
you're doing it well.
Well, we're both. I'm grateful for your participation in this video. You stick around. I'm going to say goodbye to the students and go to my FaceTime thing here. So, hey, everybody, you just watched me give the assignment guidelines for today. I hope there was a little bit of instruction there. My phone number is all over this course and in emails too. It's 541-250-1652. Text me if you have any questions, and definitely watch the end of the videos because I think there's a lot here. So I look forward to reading your papers on Friday for you checking in. And please come to our Zooms, which are 10 a.m. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.